I watched myself die on camera. I'm not the type to believe in paranormal junk. No ghosts, no alternate realities, no glitches in the Matrix. I believe in what I can see, touch, and explain. Or I did. I need to write this down before I convince myself it didn't happen, before the line between memory and madness finishes crumbling. Maybe putting it in words will help me understand it, maybe not. But either way, it started with a message from my friend Nick. "Dude, this is gonna sound insane. Is this you?" That's what the text said. Below it was a YouTube link, timestamped to 1/18/44. The video was titled, "Urban Exploring the Forgotten Groves Asylum, Livestream Archive." I tapped it without much thought. I had no clue what I was looking at yet. It was one of those low-quality streams that urban explorers post after breaking into abandoned hospitals and decaying buildings. The night vision was grainy, everything tinted green, and the audio popped every time someone spoke too loud. Two guys were on camera, one holding the camera, the other leading the way through a dusty, ruined hallway. Then, at the timestamp, they turned a corner into what looked like a basement morgue. And that's when the camera caught someone standing in the shadows. Not one of the explorers. Someone else. Someone facing the wall, breathing hard, back slightly hunched. Even in that murky footage, I recognized the jacket. Black canvas, brown leather collar, a torn left sleeve from when I caught it on a nail years ago. My jacket. I watched in stunned silence as the man slowly turned toward the camera. His face came into view. It was my face. Same haircut, same jawline, same faint scar on the eyebrow from when I fell off my bike at 10, and the way he blinked like one eye, always slightly slower than the other. That was me. "What the hell?" I whispered, heartbeat climbing. The explorers clearly hadn't seen him yet. The camera panned away, and when it snapped back, he was closer. Closer to the lens, half his face swallowed by shadow, the other lit by the night vision glow. One of the explorers gasped, "Yo, who's that?" The camera swung wildly. There was yelling, scrambling. Then it hit the ground, still recording at an awkward angle. A scream erupted through the speakers. It wasn't a scared scream. It was agony. A flash of movement. Something sharp. A metallic sound. Blood. The video went black. I just sat there, frozen on my couch, phone screen still glowing in my hand. Nick messaged again. "Wasn't this the night of your birthday? Weren't you home?" I was. I'd been asleep in bed, alone. My phone's sleep app even had a recording of me snoring. But there I was being on camera. And no matter how many times I rewatched it, nothing changed. My death, over and over again. Oh, I didn't respond to Nick. I didn't know how. Instead, I opened my laptop, found the video on YouTube again, and played it in full screen. I watched the whole thing from the beginning this time, looking for clues. Maybe it was a deepfake. Maybe someone had used my face somehow. I've heard of facial overlays, AI rendering, things like that. But the more I studied it, the less that made sense. It wasn't just the face. It was the way I moved, how I turned my head, how I limped slightly on my right foot when I walked. No actor could mimic that by chance. There was even a close-up where the camera caught my wrist, and there, plain as day, was the faded tattoo I got in college. A compass. A stupid, lopsided compass. I stared at my own dead eyes. They stared back. Then came the worst part, the one that made my breath catch and my stomach churn. He smiled. Not at the camera, not at the explorers. At me. As if somehow he knew I'd be watching. Oh. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak in the walls made my skin crawl. I kept thinking of that face, that moment just before the video cut out. That smile. By morning, I was half convinced it was an elaborate prank. Maybe someone had found an old picture of me, hired a lookalike, faked the voice. Maybe it was all just some viral marketing stunt. But none of that explained how the scar, the tattoo, the jacket, how all of it was so accurate. And worse, none of that explained what I saw next. Because the next day, I found the live streamer's Reddit post. He'd uploaded a still image of the figure from the video, The one where I was standing behind them, half in shadow. And in the comments, someone had zoomed in on the background behind me. At first, it looked like a mess of pipes and debris. But one corner of the image caught my attention. On the wall behind me, someone had scribbled something in what looked like soot or blood. I leaned in, squinting. "You're already dead." That's when the headache started. It was subtle at first, a dull pressure behind my eyes. I chalked it up to lack of sleep, stress. But by nightfall, it grew into something far worse, like something was burrowing into my skull. I sat on the edge of my bed, holding my head, rocking slightly, muttering to myself like a lunatic. My vision swam, the walls pulsed like they were breathing. And then I heard it. A sound. Not from outside, not from the hallway. From the corner of my room, a low whisper. "Wake up." I looked up. Nothing there, just the wall. But something was wrong with it. There was a shape in the drywall, like a human silhouette barely visible beneath the surface. Like someone had tried to crawl through the plaster and got stuck halfway. I blinked, and it was gone. I was losing it. I knew I was losing it. That's when I made a decision I never thought I'd make. I drove to the police station. I didn't go in. I sat in the parking lot for nearly an hour, watching the front doors, gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. What was I going to say? "Hi, I think I watched myself get murdered last week, even though I was home the whole time. Can you help?" Eventually, I left. Instead of going home, I drove to Nick's apartment. He opened the door, eyes wide. "Dude, you look like death." I probably did. I hadn't showered, I hadn't eaten. I kept feeling like someone was watching me, just out of view. I told him everything. Or almost everything. I left out the voice, the wall, the silhouette. He listened, trying not to look terrified. Then he asked the question I had been avoiding. "Do you think it's actually you? Like, not someone messing with you?" I didn't answer. Because the real answer was worse. I didn't think it was someone pretending to be me. I thought it was me, but not from here. Not from this world. And I had a horrible, gnawing feeling that whatever version of me had died on camera had found a way back. Nick let me crash on his couch that night. I didn't ask. I just sat there until he brought me a blanket and turned off the lights. But I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw it again. That frame from the video, the moment the camera hit the ground, tilted just enough to catch my doppelganger's face as he rushed forward. That expression. The way his head jerked. The impossibly wide grin. It wasn't just a face. It was mine, contorted in a way no human face should move. And there was something else. Something I hadn't noticed before. As the footage glitched right before it went black, a split-second flicker revealed something in the background behind the morgue table, deeper in the shadows. A doorway, but not like any doorway I've ever seen. It looked like it had been carved out of rotting, flesh glistening, pulsating, veined like muscle. Jagged teeth lined the top, and the darkness inside wasn't just black, it bled. I had to pause it at the exact frame, but there it was. That thing stepped out of that doorway, and it wore my face. Oh. When morning came, I convinced Nick to drive back to the asylum site with me. Grove's asylum was demolished years ago, but the livestream had been filmed in what was left of the underground levels. The live streamers never revealed the exact coordinates, but Reddit had a thread triangulating the location based on the hills and road signs. We drove 2 hours out of the city into the woods. The road ended abruptly at a rusted gate. Beyond it, forest. And somewhere inside that forest, the ruin. It wasn't marked on any map. "Dude," Nick said, cutting the engine. "We shouldn't be here." "I need to see it," I told him. "I need to see where it happened." He sighed and got out. I followed. We trekked through dense brush for half an hour before we saw a half-collapsed building buried in ivy, the remnants of a rusted sign out front, Grove Psychiatric Research Facility. The stairs down to the lower levels were still intact. We found the basement, the morgue, It was exactly as it looked in the video. Cold, damp, the smell of mildew and iron thick in the air. And then I saw it. The wall from the video. The wall where he had stood. And behind it, obscured by old tarps, was a hole. A perfect circle carved into concrete, and inside, a darkness that felt wrong. It looked like the shadows bent around it, avoiding its edges. I pulled the tarp back. The hole wasn't just a hole. It went down, way down. Nick shined a flashlight inside, but the beam seemed to vanish before reaching the bottom. "This wasn't in the original building plans," Nick whispered. "This is something else." We stared in silence. The air around the hole felt electric, like it was pulling something out of me. "I think this is where it came from," I murmured. He didn't ask what "it" meant. I think he already knew. Oh? That night, back at my apartment, everything unraveled. I was in the shower when I heard the door creak open. I turned off the water, heart pounding. "Nick?" I called. No answer. I wrapped a towel around myself and stepped out into the hallway, dripping, trembling. The front door was locked, but something had been in the living room. The rug was shifted. My coffee mug shattered on the floor, and my laptop was open. The screen showed a paused live stream. Not from the asylum, from my apartment. A camera angle I didn't recognize, like it had been recorded from the ceiling, above my couch, but the timestamp was what froze me. Tonight, 2:42 a.m. I hit play and watched myself walk into frame. Same towel, same wet hair, same scratch on my shoulder from earlier that day. But my movements were off. Too slow, too calculated. In the video, I walked to the couch and sat. I smiled. And then I turned directly to the camera eyes locked onto Menand, held something up to the lens. A knife. Then the feed cut. I tore my apartment apart. No cameras, no hidden lenses, nothing in the vents, nothing in the lights. I even unplugged my smoke detector. Nothing. At 2:42 a.m., I sat on my couch, knife in hand, waiting. Nothing happened. The door stayed shut. The air stayed still. But I felt watched, every second, like my own skin didn't trust me anymore. Then came the knock. 3 slow, deliberate raps on the door. I didn't move. Another knock. But it wasn't coming from the hallway. It was coming from inside the walls. The knock came again from behind the kitchen cabinets. Then from beneath the floorboards. Then, from behind me, I spun. Nothing. Just me, reflected in the dark screen of my TV. But as I stared, the screen flickered. And my reflection smiled. I didn't. It did. Then it raised its hand, still grinning, and pointed directly at me. Oh. The next morning, I woke on the floor, curled in a corner, knife still in my grip. No memory of falling asleep. The only evidence that the night wasn't a nightmare was a message left on my bathroom mirror, scrawled in something brownish red. "You saw it. Now it sees you." I scrubbed the message off, scrubbed until my knuckles bled. Then I called the only person who might know something. The guy who originally uploaded the live stream. "Caleb Dunn," I said aloud, typing the name into Google. His YouTube channel was still up, Voidwalker Explorations. Most of the comments on the video had been deleted. I dug deeper, found a Discord server link buried in a Reddit thread. I joined under a fake name. I messaged him privately. He responded within minutes. "Caleb, is this about the man in the asylum?" "Me, yes." "Caleb, we need to talk. In person. That thing, whatever wore your face, it's not the first one, but it's the first one that's come back." "Me, back from where?" His typing bubble paused. Then, "Caleb, back from the other side of the feed." "Ah." That night, Caleb called me instead of meeting in person. "I won't go back there," he said, voice trembling. "What do you mean, the other side of the feed?" I asked. "The live stream didn't just record what was happening. It opened something. That morgue. The place you saw yourself die that wasn't just a location. It was a broadcast point. Something on the other side wanted out, and it needed a way to copy us. Live streams? Videos? They're blueprints. Patterns. It learned you. I felt cold. Why, May? I don't know. Maybe you watched it too long. Maybe it liked your face. But once it copied you, it started replacing the footage, corrupting it. That's why the video glitches when you pause it. It's rewriting itself. My voice cracked. What happens now? I don't know, he whispered. But if it's mimicking you, it doesn't stop at video. Eventually, it starts needing more. Attention, presence, flesh. Then the line went dead. I called him back. No answer. An hour later, I got a notification. Voidwalker Explorations. New live stream. Final transmission. I opened it. The feed was shaky, static. Caleb stood in front of his webcam, eyes wide with terror. Behind him, in the shadows, something moved. Then a face appeared. My face. Caleb screamed. The camera dropped, and the screen went black. Caleb was gone. No police report. No news. His channel vanished an hour after the stream ended, deleted without a trace. I tried finding the video elsewhere. Screen recordings, mirrors, archives. Nothing. It was like he had never existed. But I remembered what I saw frame by frame. Caleb's wide, panicked eyes. That distorted version of me stepping into view, head cocked at a wrong angle, smiling like it was wearing my skin rather than being it. And in the last moment before the feed cut, I saw Caleb's reflection in the black screen behind him and Lee. It wasn't just his. There were two shadows. One of them, bigger, hungrier. Oh, that night I didn't sleep. I sat at my desk with the lights off, scrolling forums, conspiracy boards, deep web threads, anything I could find about people seeing themselves die on camera. There were whispers, urban legends, folklore from remote parts of the world, names for it, the second self, the feedborn, the echo behind the screen. One story chilled me the most, a thread posted by someone named Mirror Notglass, dated 3 years back. They wrote, I watched a video of myself walking into traffic. It happened a week before it actually did. I didn't die, but something else came back in my place. My dog wouldn't come near me. My reflection was delayed. People started treating me different. And then I stopped blinking. I'm still here, but I'm not sure if I'm still me. I refreshed the page. The post vanished. Gone. Even the user. I leaned back, rubbing my eyes, chest tight with panic. Then my phone buzzed. A video message. No sender. Just a file named U113 MP4. I hesitated, thumb hovering over it. Then I tapped. The screen went black. No sound. Just shapes, moving, shifting, like watching an old VHS warped by time and heat. And then my apartment. Current time. Same angle as the last mysterious video. The camera from the ceiling again. Except this time, there were two of me. One sitting on the couch, watching TV. The other standing just behind him, unmoving, smiling. The couch version never turned around, never saw it. But I did. The one in the back raised a hand. Snapped its fingers. The screen glitched. When it came back, only one version remained. But I couldn't tell which one. Oh? I ran to the bathroom and stared into the mirror. I searched for anything wrong. Eyes misaligned, smile too wide, breathing offbeat. But I looked normal. I felt normal. Didn't he? My heart was pounding. But that was natural. That was human. Right? Then something behind my reflection moved independent of me. Just a twitch of the fingers, a flex of the jaw. I backed away slowly. The mirror version stood still. Then it reached out, placed a palm against the glass from the inside. That wasn't possible. And yet the condensation from the mirror fog started forming around the imprint of its hand. I stumbled backward, knocking over a lamp. The mirror cracked. I stared at the fractures spreading across it, like a web, a trap. That's when I decided. I needed to return to the source. Back to the morgue. Back to the hole. Oh? Nick tried to stop me. You're not thinking straight. I have to end it, I said. It's not just watching anymore, it's trying to take my place. He looked pale. What if it already has? That stopped me. He stared at me like he didn't recognize me anymore. I didn't respond. I couldn't. Because what if he was right? What if I wasn't the one watching the video? What if I was the one in it? Oh, we went back together. He didn't trust me to go alone. I didn't trust myself to argue. We arrived at the ruins just before sunset. This time, the hole in the morgue was open wider, almost like it had been feeding. The stench was worse, thicker, like copper and rot. I could feel the pressure in my skull, again like thoughts that weren't mine were trying to crawl inside. I stepped closer. Nick grabbed my arm. Wait. I turned to him. He was pale, sweating. You said you were asleep during the live stream, right? Yeah. So who's to say it didn't take you then? I froze. His grip tightened. What if you are the copy? He whispered. What if you've been the copy this whole time? The floor felt like it tilted. My vision swam. I didn't answer, because in that moment, I didn't know. I didn't remember falling asleep that night. Just waking up, different. Tired, dull, a little detached. Nick reached into his jacket and pulled something out. A mirror shard. The one I broke earlier. He held it up to my face. Smile. I didn't, but the reflection did. Ah. He dropped the shard. It clattered across the tile. The reflection stopped smiling and winked. Nick stared at me, horrified, and ran. I didn't follow. I turned back to the hole and jumped in. Oh, falling felt like drowning in air. Time stretched, twisted. My body folded in ways it shouldn't have. I landed on something soft, but not ground. It pulsed beneath me. I stood in a space that wasn't space. The walls looked like decaying flesh and broken televisions, flickering frames from thousands of lives. And all of them were me, dying, over and over. I walked down a corridor of myself, watching countless versions of my face scream, bleed, vanish. And at the end of the tunnel, it waited. A shape in the dark. Tall, skeletal. Its head looked like mine, stretched too thin, too long, eyes like static screens. It opened its arms and whispered in my voice, "Let me wear you better." I couldn't move. The thing in front of me was made of footage, skin like paper-thin screens, muscles flickering with static and corrupted pixels. I saw moments of my own life playing across its body memories I'd long forgotten. My first steps, my mother's funeral, a fistfight I lost in 9th grade. It had all of me, and it was hungry. It tilted its head, neck crackling like a broken antenna. Its grin widened as it stepped forward, the floor twitching beneath its feet like raw nerves. "You were never alone," it said. Its voice echoed with a delay, like it had to buffer the words. "Every eye that watches, every screen that glows feeds us. You opened the door." I stepped back, heart hammering, mind swimming. "What are you?" It twitched again. A dozen versions of my voice overlapped. "We're what comes through the lens, what grows in the cracks of your reflection, what learns from your clicks, your loops, your replays. You taught us how to wear you." A screen burst from its chest, showing the live stream again. My face, my death, the moment the explorers screamed. But now, I saw something else. Just before I died on that screen, my eyes lit up not with fear, with understanding. Like I knew I was being replaced. Like I let it happen. And the thing this feedborn, this reflection of myself, wasn't hunting me. It was finishing me. completing a transfer. A possession not through spirit, but through footage. Hell. I turned and ran. Through the corridor of dying selves. Through the fleshy passageways pulsing with static and faint audio clips. A hallway formed before me, one lined with cracked mirrors. Each mirror showed a version of me. Me, smiling calmly as I buried something in my backyard. Me, asleep in bed while something crawled out from under the sheets. Me, staring at a mirror with a rope around my neck and someone watching from behind the glass. Each mirror watched me back. The hallway narrowed. The mirrors began speaking, overlapping into a cacophony. I'm still inside you. We already switched. You're the copy. I shoved past them. My fingers brushed one of the mirrors, and it sucked warmth, memory, even feeling out of my hand. I screamed and yanked it back, skin blistered, fingers twitching. Then light. A sliver. A way out. I dove for it. Through the pulsing crack in the floor, up, and awoke in my apartment. Gasping, drenched in sweat, lying in the middle of my living room floor. Sunlight streamed through the windows. My phone buzzed beside me. A notification. New archive video available. Man dies in his sleep. Captured on security cam. My throat closed. I tapped the notification. The video opened. It showed Melis night thrashing in my sleep, eyes open, gasping like I was being suffocated from the inside. Then I went still. No twitch. No breath. Dead. The time code was exactly 2 hours ago. Yet I was still here. Still breathing. Still thinking. Wasn't he? I ran to the mirror. My reflection blinked a second too late. It tilted its head before I did. And smiled. Oh, the doorbell rang. Nick. I opened the door. He took one look at me and froze. What did you do? He whispered. I smiled. He stepped back, horror dawning on his face. It got you. It got you. I reached into my pocket and held up my phone. I kept the footage, I said, my voice calm. Want to see? He turned and ran. I didn't follow. Instead, I shut the door and started uploading the video. That's what this is. A warning. Or maybe an invitation. The video's still out there uploaded again. Every time someone watches it, it learns. Every time someone shares it, it grows. You're probably wondering if it's real. If I'm real. If you're still the version that went to bed last night. Or if you've already been swapped. Go ahead. Check the mirrors. Check your videos. Watch them frame by frame. See if you blink when you should. See if your smile is a second too slow. And ask yourself one last question before you turn off the screen. Are you sure you're still the one watching? Or has it already stepped through? And now, it's watching you.